I caught my husband and a female student having an affair. But my Barbara said I couldn't keep her husband in line, and my Lisa said it serves you right. I wanted a divorce. David, however, used the children as leverage against me. For the sake of the kids, I chose to endure. I never expected that I would endure for a lifetime. David had affairs his whole life, I served him his whole life, and in the end, he passed away peacefully in old age. And I, who toiled her whole life, was ultimately resented by my children and died alone in a rental apartment. Heaven opened its eyes and sent me back to before the divorce. I opened my eyes and saw my Barbara, who had been dead for over 20 years, spitting at me. Sarah, how dare you smash my house? Have you lost your mind? So what if he was just talking to a female student? You're biting like a mad dog, you ill-mannered thing. You couldn't keep her husband in line yourself, and you blame the man? It serves you right. If you're so capable, then get a divorce. My son is a university professor, you're just a housewife. If you get divorced, I'd like to see what man would want you, you used goods. Don't worry, Mom, she'd never dare to divorce. Lisa, my sister-in-law, looked gleeful. She had just incited Barbara to slap me. Still smashing things? I'll beat you to death. My George, sitting in his wheelchair, mumbled with a twisted mouth, hit her, hit her. I knew he was telling David to hit me. With a swollen face, I turned my head and saw David sitting on the sofa watching television. I asked David, your mom wants me to divorce you, do you agree? David didn't even lift his head. I don't care. If you want a divorce, then divorce. I said, okay, I agree to the divorce. We'll go to the clerk's office tomorrow. David laughed, you can divorce, but don't even think about taking the children. There's no joint savings account, and you won't get a cent. Using that tactic again. Sarah, used to have a spirited personality. The first time he cheated, I brought up divorce. But David seemed to know exactly how to handle me, using the children as leverage every single time. The children. Barbara was eager to say something, but Lisa pulled her back. They knew the children were my weak spot. As long as they mentioned the children, I could endure anything. But now, I don't care about the children anymore. I feel like heaven has been truly kind to me, letting me live again after dying. This time I will never sacrifice myself for anyone else. Like before, I stayed silent. I got up and went back to the room. Mom, see? She'd never dare to divorce. I couldn't be bothered with Lisa's words. I sneered and started packing my things. Actually, it wasn't my room, it was a small room outside George's room. Ever since George had a stroke, he needed constant care. I thought I would take care of George during the day, and Barbara would take care of him at night, so I could get some rest. But Barbara said she had nervous exhaustion and couldn't stay up at night, even the slightest sound would keep her awake. She made me move into the small room to take care of him nearby. I was so angry I laughed. David slept soundly every night in the master bedroom by himself. Now I've decided, whoever wants to take care of him can take care of him. Doesn't Barbara often complain in the neighborhood that I'm unfilial? Well, I'll be unfilial then. Let David be the dutiful son. I quickly packed the bed sheets and moved into the master bedroom. David saw me moving into the master bedroom and followed me in with a frown. What are you doing moving in here? What about Dad needing to go to the bathroom at night, or needing a drink or to be turned over? I threw David's clothes out. We're getting a divorce. Your dad isn't my dad anymore. Whoever's dad he is, can take care of him. What are you doing? Are you done making a scene? I smiled. So what if I'm making a scene? He said I was making a scene. Before, I also thought I was just being difficult. Arguing with him was making a scene, smashing things hysterically was making a scene. Refusing to eat and starving myself was making a scene. But now I know, hurting myself wasn't making a scene. Making them suffer, that's making a scene. See? Just moving out of the small room, and David couldn't wait to follow me in and talk to me. At home, David usually wouldn't say more than 3 sentences to me a day. It turns out, this is how you make them uncomfortable. David walked out of the room with a dark face. I couldn't be bothered with what his family was saying outside. I changed the bed sheets on the bed and went into the bathroom to take a shower. Normally at this time, I should be picking up the children from school. After picking them up, I'd have to rush to make dinner. After the family ate, I'd have to clean up and wash the dishes, then help the children with their homework. After homework, I'd bathe the children. Finally, I'd prepare to bathe and give medication to George. I wouldn't have any time to myself until George fell asleep. I was a workhorse in that house. After showering, I started calculating my savings. I got my associate's degree and got married a few years after working. After getting married, David's salary always went to his mom. I had to report weekly for grocery money. If I needed money, I had to ask Barbara for permission. David would never give me money. But I wasn't completely without income over the years. My English was very good. I occasionally took on freelance work outside, earning a few $100s at a time. Now I have savings of just over $10,000. It's very little, but after the divorce, this money will be enough to support me until I find a job. And I don't have to worry about the house. This house was left to me by my parents. It's very large. It's premarital property, David can't take it. As soon as I got married, David brought his parents over. Lisa lived with us before she got married. I realize now that David likely married me for my house. His whole family had been plotting to take the house. This time I will not compromise. I will definitely kick their whole family out. At this moment, Barbara was pounding on the door outside. Sarah, what are you hiding inside for? The children are getting out of school soon, aren't you going to pick them up? You haven't cleaned the floor either, you lazy bum. I opened the door. They don't like me picking them up. Let David go. Barbara shrieked, how can David do such a thing? Why can't he pick them up? They're not just my children. Fine, you won't pick them up, huh? Then nobody will. This was Barbara's usual trick. Before, when I saw others in the family not doing things, even though I was annoyed, the thought of the children made me break down first. I would always silently do everything myself. This time, I will not let them have their way. Soon, I heard a bang outside the door. I figured Barbara had gone out. She never came home before dinner every day. I opened the door and saw nothing in the living room but scattered debris on the floor and George in his wheelchair. I pretended not to see it. I went into the study and opened my laptop. I started looking for a job. My English wasn't just good, I studied international business in community college. I loved English and never stopped using it. I wrote my resume and submitted it to over 100 companies in one go. After doing all this, I went straight into the bedroom. I lay down on the bed and went to sleep. I was too tired right now. I didn't want to think about anything, or care about anything. Where's dinner? Why isn't anyone cooking? Are you dead or something? You're home and not cooking, not even cleaning the floor. David, look at the woman you married. She's lazy and gluttonous, lying around at home instead of cooking. Is she itching for a fight, trying to rebel? Barbara's voice woke me up. Annoyed, I pulled the blanket over my head. Get up. David had come into the room at some point. My temper flared instantly. I jumped up like a startled fish. Are you crazy? Can't you see I'm sleeping? David snapped, sleep, sleep, sleep. What time is it and you're already sleeping? Why haven't you made dinner? I'm not eating. I didn't say you had to eat. Mom told you to make dinner, why didn't you? I was astonished. Are you deaf or just stupid? I said I'm not eating. Whoever is eating, can cook. Are you doing this on purpose? What did my mom do to you that you're acting out? Sarah, don't go too far. I am going too far. What are you going to do about it? Get a divorce, get out. Go find your Ashley. Let her take care of your whole family. David took a few deep breaths. Fine, you won't do it, then the children can go hungry too. I rolled my eyes. Always using this tactic, no originality at all. While we were arguing, the two children came home. Kevin and Emily are twins, 9 years old this year. Kevin walked in and saw David and I arguing. Mom, why are you arguing with Dad again? Can't you just be quiet? Emily nodded along. Yeah, Mom, you're so loud. And you didn't even pick me and Big Brother up today. David's face was grim. Look at your mom, what she's become. You two must never learn from her, she's like a shrew, completely ill-bred. I was so angry I almost died. I looked at these two things I had given birth to with cold eyes. Genetics are truly powerful. Kevin and Emily had completely inherited the Lee family's mean and selfish nature. Every time, they only saw me shouting and arguing at home. Every single time. They sided with David. In my previous life, when I was dying, they were thinking about how to kick me out. Instead of taking me to see a doctor, I finally understood. What husband, what children? I'd rather not have a husband and children like these. I smiled without warmth. Okay, I won't argue with your dad anymore. Hurry up and take your dad out, I have a headache today. You too, don't bother me. The two little ones looked at each other. They didn't understand why I suddenly stopped arguing today. David glared. The children are home, what are you still sleeping for? Go make dinner. I completely ignored him. David shouted, Sarah, did you hear me? Seeing I didn't react, David continued yelling, are you deaf? I'm telling you to make dinner. How long are you going to keep this up? I already told you I was just having a normal chat with a student. Aren't you being too unreasonable? What will people think of me? I got up and motioned for the two little ones to come over. When Emily and Kevin walked over, I said, I'm not arguing now. It's your dad who keeps yelling. Can you two make your dad quiet down? He's a professor, how can he have no manners at all? Don't learn from him, he's like a lunatic. The two small ones looked up at David. Dad, stop arguing. Barbara rushed in directly and pushed the two little ones aside. What do you two know? Your dad is disciplining his woman. Emily was pushed and immediately fell to the ground, crying loudly. Barbara glared at me with her triangular eyes. What are you crying about, you useless thing, always crying? Did someone die in the house that you're crying like that? If it were before, I would have rushed over to hug Emily and started arguing with Barbara. But now, I'm not that stupid. In the past, those two little things were easily manipulated by Barbara's words, completely forgetting their childhood memories. They even told me to be magnanimous. Now I want to see if those two things can still remember how good Barbara was without my protection. David frowned and looked at Barbara. Okay, Mom, that's enough. Let's make dinner first. Barbara's eyes widened. Me? What about her? David was speechless. She's not feeling well today. You make it this time. I watched Barbara with a cold smile. See? As long as you're ruthless enough, you can achieve anything. After Barbara went out, David took the two children away. I called out to him, don't forget to go to the clerk's office tomorrow to sign the papers. David whipped around. Fine, we'll go. Don't regret it then. That night, I didn't lift a finger. Barbara cooked dinner in the kitchen, banging pots and pans, cursing as she cooked. She cursed me and the two children. I didn't help the children with their homework either. David had no choice but to help them himself. I could hear David roaring from the other room. I found it amusing. Before, when I helped the children with their homework, everyone said I had a bad temper and couldn't teach them properly. When David helped, Barbara didn't dare say a word. Just as they finished bathing the two children, George started knocking on the floor with his cane. Barbara had specifically given George the cane for this. Whenever something happened, he would knock on the floor with it, and I would go over. Tonight, of course, I wouldn't go over. Sarah, hurry up. Your dad has gone to the bathroom, hurry over and clean him up. Did you hear me? Do you want to die? Barbara pounded on the door loudly. I walked out and said coldly, David and I are getting a divorce soon. I'm not my responsibility to take care of him. David is filial, go find him. You cold-hearted thing, David had the worst luck marrying you. I calmly retorted, regretting it? Fine, let's get divorced quickly. There are plenty of women who would love to marry your son outside. That felt good. Barbara was unwilling to take care of David, so she had to grumble and curse as she went to clean up George, dealing with him going to the bathroom multiple times, which exhausted her. The next morning, I got up and got ready. I heard Barbara complaining in the kitchen, Son, are you really getting divorced? My old bones were so tired last night. Who will do the housework from now on? Don't worry, Mom. I'm just using the divorce to scare her. After we sign the papers, there's still a 3-month cooling off period, isn't there? By then, she'll definitely regret it. You just have to work hard for a bit during this time, and let her know that the house runs just fine with or without her. Once she stops making a fuss, she'll go back to doing these things. Barbara laughed. You're so clever, son. Don't indulge her anymore. You're giving her an inch and she takes a mile by challenging me. David was smug. I know. She's most afraid of me getting angry. When I get angry, she's like a mouse. This time, we'll teach her a good lesson. Listen to your son. I sneered, remembering they were the same in my previous life. They had agreed to the divorce, but before we even got to the clerk's office, I was afraid David would take the children, so I backed out before we even reached the clerk's office. From then on, I was inferior to David. Every time David cheated after that, he would tell me to get a divorce without hesitation, but by then, I no longer had the courage to divorce. David came out and saw me sitting on the sofa, looking disgusted. Didn't you want a divorce? Let's go. The two children hadn't gone to school yet and heard I was getting a divorce. Their eyes widened. Mom, are you getting a divorce? I nodded. Your dad said he's taking you too. You'll live with your dad from now on. Also, hurry up and pack your things. After the divorce, you'll move out with your dad. Your dad is rich, he'll buy you a big house. Kevin nodded happily. Then I want Ashley's sister to be my mom. She's so gentle, she helps me with homework, and she smiles at me. She's not fierce like Mom at all. Emily chimed in, I want Ashley's sister too. She's so pretty, Mom isn't pretty. Will I have a pretty mom to pick me up from school after this, Dad? I smiled and said, then you should hurry and help mom persuade dad to marry Ashley's sister. You'll be living a happy life very soon. Barbara rushed out. What? You want me to move out? This is my son's house, I'm not moving. David's face was grim. Sarah, do you really have to push me like this? David, how is this pushing you? We're divorced. When you marry Ashley, you can't live in my parents' house, can you? She wouldn't be happy seeing all my things here either. You're a professor, you wouldn't still want to covet your ex-wife's premarital property, would you? What about your reputation? David went to the clerk's office with a dark face. I was smiling, noticeably standing out among the people getting divorced. The staff quickly handed me the agreement. Look at this agreement. The children go with the father. The wife walked away with nothing. No savings. See if there are any problems. I said, no problems. David nodded with difficulty. What kind of man makes his wife walk away with nothing? Pfft. David turned his head and glared fiercely at the person who spoke. I walked out of the clerk's office. After enduring for 30 days, I would be completely separated from that family. You should pack your things and move out as soon as possible. I'll pay the child support on time. David didn't say a word and turned to leave. I went home and saw Barbara feeding George with a stern face. Seeing me return, she put down the bowl. You finally came back? What time is it? You're lazy all day, not even cooking dinner. Auntie, you have hands and feet, why can't you cook yourself? Barbara's eyes widened. What did you call me? Auntie, what's the problem? I'm divorced from David. What else should I call you besides Auntie? You actually dared to sign the papers. I gave a cold smile. Your son is getting a new wife soon. I should hurry up and make space. You're spouting nonsense. I gave a dismissive smile and couldn't be bothered to argue with her. I went into the room and started packing David's things. Over the years, the Lee family had infiltrated everywhere. The house was already filled with their belongings. Even Lisa had her own room in this house. Just looking at it was annoying. David came back that night and saw that I had thrown out all his things. He kicked everything aside with a cold face. The two children were scared and cried loudly. Before, I was the only one who was hysterical in the house. Now that I wasn't arguing or making a scene, David started. I pretended not to see the children crying. Barbara came out again, cursing indirectly, giving the two children a severe scolding. David could only try to pacify both sides. I completely washed my hands of George's care. After a few days like this, David finally couldn't stand it anymore. He had to go to work during the day and come home to face the noise and arguments at night. Barbara complained about back pain and leg pain every day. George needed to go to the bathroom, be turned over, and have his clothes washed at night. Barbara couldn't do these things alone, so she had to call David to do them. He wasn't getting enough rest at night either. I noticed he was spending less time chatting on his phone recently. Sarah, what exactly do you want? I was doing my skincare. I used to be reluctant to buy these things, and my skin looked a bit rough. Now I knew I needed to take care of myself. Naturally, I wasn't hesitant to spend money on myself. I looked at my reflection, looking a few years younger, and raised an eyebrow in surprise. What do I want? I don't understand. I don't want anything. Stop pretending. Can't you see how much is going on in the house? How tired Mom and I are. So what? They're not my parents. You're being a freeloader at home, and you dare to talk like that? I laughed. Hey, don't say things like that. You're still living in my house, and I haven't even charged you rent yet. Are you deliberately making things difficult for me? Fine. Without me, you can wait to become a beggar. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm starting work tomorrow. After submitting resumes for half a month, I finally successfully interviewed with a trading company with excellent development prospects. I would start working tomorrow. You found a job? Why didn't you discuss it with me? Who told you to look for a job? It's not like I can't support you. I held up my hand. Hey, hold it right there. We're divorced. You seem to have forgotten. David paced back and forth, then suddenly said fiercely, don't even think about divorce. Don't forget, my 1 month isn't up yet. As long as I don't sign, the divorce won't go through. I watched David walk out in a huff, my face grim. No rush. I have my ways. I found a job and started to regain control of my life. Going out early and coming back late like this, I quickly got my first paycheck. The day I got my paycheck, I bought myself a lot of clothes. Barbara had a dark face, looking at me like venom. She hadn't had time for mahjong or dancing lately, and she had visibly lost over 10 pounds, instantly aging by over 10 years. Seeing that I wasn't softening, David specifically came to me to say nice things. He sent me messages every day, saying useless things like add more clothes when it's cold and eat when you're hungry. Just like that, I waited for the message from the person I had been waiting for. Ashley finally lost patience and sent me a message. Gee. I don't know how she got my number, but she sent me an ultrasound image, saying it was David's child. In my previous life, I also received her message, but I immediately had a big fight with David. Because the divorce didn't go through, and David quickly took Ashley to get an abortion, the matter was suppressed. I never saw Ashley again after that. I don't know why Ashley's message came much later this time. Looking at the ultrasound image, the child was almost 3 months old. I arranged to meet Ashley at a coffee shop. I'm pregnant with Professor David's child. Please divorce him. I'm begging you, I have no other choice. I observed Ashley. She fit David's aesthetic perfectly. Gentle, weak, innocent looking. And of course, innocent looking. I know using innocent looking to describe a mistress isn't appropriate, but David liked this little white rabbit type of girl. Ashley saw I wasn't speaking and grew anxious. Sister, I'm truly sorry, I really have no other choice. If my dad knew, he would beat me to death. He's an old teacher and cares most about his reputation. I spoke up. David is already divorced from me. Didn't he tell you? Ah? I sighed. I'm already divorced from David. He said he had someone he loved and wanted to marry her. I'm past my prime, and I've argued enough with him over the years, I'm tired. Might as well fulfill your wish. Ashley was excited. Professor David said that even though you don't have feelings for each other anymore, there's still affection. Although he feels you're not worthy of him, he said he wouldn't mistreat you and the children. I sneered inwardly. David, that scoundrel, was deceiving both sides. Outwardly, I looked comforted. Now that you have a child, you should get married as soon as possible. The adults can wait, but the child can't. Sister, you're so kind. After you and the children move out, I'll definitely make sure Professor David pays the child support on time. I waved my hand generously. Don't talk about that. I didn't even ask for a cent when I divorced him. Why would I ask for money now? Ashley's eyes lit up. You walked away with nothing? That's right. I haven't worked these past few years, and I've been spending David's money. I don't have the face to ask for more. Ashley smiled. Sister, that's the right way to think. It's rare to find a sister with such sound principles. Are you relieved now? Your friends are waiting for you. I had noticed earlier that there were a few people peeking into the coffee shop from outside. Ashley said sheepishly, my friends were worried I'd be taken advantage of. I didn't expect you to be so reasonable, sister. It's okay. The cooling off period for David and me is almost over. Then you can have David meet your dad. Okay. Ashley nodded. Watching Ashley walk away, I smiled. No wonder David liked her. I liked someone so obedient too. Returning home that night, I could hear arguing even before I reached the doorstep. I opened the door and went in. Lisa was sitting on the sofa, her makeup ruined from crying. Also in the room were her husband, Mark, and Mark's mom and dad. Barbara, looking furious, pointed at Mark. Tell me what you've done. What's wrong with our Lisa that you have to go find other women? I raised an eyebrow. They found out so quickly. Mark, like David, couldn't settle down. Mark saw me come in and called out, sister-in-law. Mark, you're here. You look well. As expected, happiness makes one radiant. I admit, I was doing it on purpose. Barbara didn't know yet that Mark had a child with someone outside. Lisa was crying now, but she'd have even more to cry about later, because she couldn't have children. If you can't say anything helpful, shut up. Lisa sprang up. Say that again. Are you gloating? That's right, I am gloating. I'll even say you deserved to be despised by a man. You couldn't keep her husband in line yourself, why blame Mark? Lisa glared at me. Say that again. I spread my hands and pulled Mark's mom over. Auntie, tell me if I'm right. What's wrong with a man like Mark socializing outside? Some people can't keep their husbands in line and still have the nerve to cry. Mark's mom immediately smiled when she saw me. Your sister-in-law is right. Our Mark is out there doing important things. Lisa went and made a scene at his workplace without thinking. What kind of behavior is that? I feigned surprise. Lisa is so unreliable? She's really ill-mannered, like a shrew. Mark, you should discipline your wife. She's getting out of hand. Mark instantly felt justified and gave Lisa a smug look. I continued, look at me. I barely control David. Even if David finds 10 or 8 women outside, as long as he doesn't bring them in front of me, I pretend not to see them. Mark gave me a thumbs up. Sister-in-law, you're reasonable and broad-minded. Unlike Lisa, who acts like a shrew all the time, it's so annoying at home. Lisa roared, Sarah, get out. I put my things down. You're the one who should get out. This house is mine. You Lisa are the ones who should be leaving. Lisa lunged at me, trying to hit me. I counted both old and new grudges and slapped Lisa. You barren hen, what right do you have to control Mark? Mark stopped his movement to help Lisa. Women know best how to pierce another woman's heart. And I knew Lisa even better. She hated it most when people brought up her infertility. Why was Barbara so gentle this time? Wasn't it because Lisa couldn't have children? Mark's mom looked refreshed. That's exactly right. If you ask me, Mark should just divorce Lisa. Anyway, that one over there is already pregnant with our Fong family's child. Divorce? I won't agree. Mom, I don't want a divorce. Lisa was crying her eyes out. Barbara was shaken violently by Lisa. A painful expression suddenly appeared on her face, and she clutched her chest and collapsed. Barbara was angered to the point she needed to go to the hospital. Lisa rushed to the hospital with Mark's parents. By the time David found out, Barbara was already hospitalized. Now David was busy. Lisa took care of Barbara during the day, and he took care of her at night. George and the 2 children were left unattended. David found me. You see the situation at home. Now is not a good time for us to divorce. Oh, it's not a good time for you. It's a great time for me to divorce. The timing is perfect. David was annoyed. Can't you consider the bigger picture? You weren't like this before. Well, I was stupid before. I'm not stupid anymore. David suddenly grabbed my hand. Sarah, I'm begging you. I need you right now. The children need you. This family needs you. I sighed. As a daughter-in-law, I should go take care of Barbara. David was overjoyed. I knew you were the most obedient. But the next day, David saw Ashley taking care of Barbara in the hospital room. So when David's colleagues from the university came to visit with gifts, they naturally saw Ashley too. I appeared in the hospital room with a smile. Everyone's here. Thank you for coming all this way. Sister-in-law. Sister-in-law. I waved my hands repeatedly. No, no. I pulled the stunned Ashley over. This is your new sister-in-law, Ashley. She's already 3 months pregnant. David and I hurried to get divorced so we wouldn't wrong this child. Don't call me sister-in-law anymore. The hospital room was silent. Everyone's eyes darted between David and Ashley. Ashley's eyes immediately turned red. David's face was black, facing the awkwardness in the room. I didn't wait for David to explode and turned to leave the room. David chased after me. What exactly do you want? RY. Oh, you so happy seeing me embarrassed? I stopped. David, you said you and Ashley were just chatting. That's quite the powerful chat function, it can even get her pregnant. David's face changed. He gritted his teeth and glared at me. The time is up the day after tomorrow. If you don't want your future ruined, you'll obediently come and sign the papers with me. Fine, you wait. You won't get a single child. I stopped walking and turned to look at him. Seeing me stop, David looked at me smugly, as if to say, you can't beat me. I turned and left without a hint of reluctance. On the day of the divorce, David brought the 2 children to the clerk's office. Besides him, the pregnant Ashley was also there. Kevin, like a little adult, supported Ashley. Mommy, be careful. Kevin is so good. I sneered inwardly, showing no emotion. I had suffered enough from these 2 children in my previous life. Seeing them now, my heart no longer ached. David said, I brought them today for you to see them one last time. You won't see them again after this. Okay. David seemed unwilling to accept this and asked, you really don't want to try to make it work at all? If you apologize to me, I won't divorce you. Ashley clutched David's arm nervously. I found it amusing. Is it appropriate to say that in front of your new wife? David and I finally completed the divorce process. The moment I received the divorce decree, I cried tears of joy. David stood by indifferently. It's too late to cry now. That same day, David and Ashley got their marriage license. I cried again. The 2 of them were finally together. Having gotten married, David naturally couldn't continue living with me. He moved out quickly. The house suddenly became spacious. I hired a cleaning service to clean the house thoroughly, inside and out, and threw away all the clothes Barbara and George were reluctant to discard, and the junk they had collected. As for the things Lisa left behind, I treated them all as trash. It felt as though over a decade of bad luck had moved away from me. My life became fulfilling. I didn't have to wake up early to make breakfast. If I wanted to cook, I cooked. If I didn't want to clean the house, I hired someone to do it. I didn't have to take care of George every night, the air I breathed felt fresh. I threw myself into my work even more. I made interesting friends. I went hiking on weekends and occasionally traveled to other places during holidays. This kind of life was something I couldn't even imagine before. Soon, I was promoted through my excellent abilities, and my salary doubled. It was then that I saw the 2 children at my doorstep. I was stunned. "Why are you here?" Kevin and Emily hung their heads and didn't speak. I looked at them. It was almost winter, but Kevin and Emily were still wearing thin jackets. But even so, I didn't let them in. Since they weren't saying anything, I didn't want to ask. It was probably just that often, a stepmother means a distant father. My ex Barbara never liked children. Kevin might get some favoritism from her, but Emily was unlikely. "Where did you move to? I'll take you back." Kevin suddenly yelled, "Aren't you my mom? I came to find you, and you're still trying to kick us out?" I said calmly, "I'm not your mom. Your mom is Ashley." "You're lying. You are my mom." "Ashley isn't my mom. In my previous life, Kevin was mean and selfish, just like his grandmother. I raised him, sent him to a prestigious school. I helped him get married and have children, and looked after his children. I worked hard without complaining for my son. From the moment I opened my eyes, there was endless work waiting for me. But when his children grew up, he kicked me out. When I was sick and couldn't get out of bed, social services contacted him, and he said I wasn't his MO. He demanded I provide documentation to prove I was his mom. Otherwise, he had no obligation to support me. "Then what documentation do you have to prove I'm your mom?" Emily started sobbing. "Mommy, I was wrong. I shouldn't have called someone else mommy. Please forgive us." Emily wasn't any better. In her previous life, she thought I favored Kevin and always gave me the cold shoulder. In reality, I put no less effort into her than Kevin, and I even gave her more money. Most of the money David left went to her. Kevin hated me because he felt that as a boy, he didn't get all the inheritance. Emily felt I showed favoritism towards her brother because I always looked after her brother's children. Both children felt they were wronged. Emily had disappeared from my life long before I got sick. I chose to call the police. I handed the 2 children over to the police officers. As I left, the 2 police officers looked at me with cold eyes. I forced a smile. Suddenly, I felt utterly discouraged. I thought the children coming to find me was just a moment of anger, but then Ashley suddenly found me. She had already given birth and hadn't even finished her recovery period after childbirth. She kept crying. "Barbara doesn't do anything. I'm raising the child by myself and still have to take care of the paralyzed father-in-law. What's worse is they expect me to bathe the father-in-law. Lisa is going through a divorce again and keeps coming home. I can't even get a good night's sleep. David always tells me to just bear with it, but I really can't stand it anymore." Until recently, when I found pictures sent by another woman on his phone. Hearing this, I was already impatient. "But what do you want by coming to me? I can't help you." "You can help. As long as you remarry David, I can be free." "Are you crazy?" "Sister, I know I wronged you. Now I'll give David back to you. I promise I'll never be other your lives again." I thought about it. "If you really want to get away from that family, there is a way." Ashley grabbed my hand excitedly. "Just threaten David directly. Tell him he's harassing you. If he doesn't divorce you, report him to the university. Anyway, David's reputation at the university is already ruined, and now he's messing with other women. He cares so much about his image, he'll definitely divorce." After all, that's how I managed to get David to divorce me in the first place. With a plan, Ashley indeed did as I said and threatened David with divorce. David naturally disagreed, and my ex Barbara also became cautious. She wouldn't dare let David divorce again. Finally, she had found a sucker to do her housework. Ashley was more ruthless than I thought. She directly brought people from the university to confront David at his workplace. Because David was a professor at a prestigious university, the matter even made local news. David lost face in front of his relatives and friends, his professor status was revoked, and the university fired him. Ashley successfully divorced David by portraying herself as a victim online. She didn't take the child with her either. I heard she married someone and moved overseas, never coming back. David alone had to cover the living expenses for 3 children. Gradually, he started contacting me frequently. By the time he couldn't wait any longer and came to my door, I had already sold the house and flown overseas to start a new life. The day the children showed up at my door, I knew the only way to completely escape David was to go somewhere they couldn't find me. From then on, I applied for an overseas job. Fortunately, my colleagues didn't want to go to the country I applied to, so my application was approved quickly. Life wasn't easy here, but my heart was free. As my savings grew, I occasionally bought things and sent them back home to the 2 children. Dren. Later, I got a new boyfriend. If I liked him, we were together. If I didn't, we broke up. Like any free person, I enjoyed dating and enjoyed life, but I never expected marriage again.